Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDA44. Just watched a 6-minute clip of highlights for the Lakers Heat game. We lost by 2. We're down most of the game. What was so glaring about that game to me was the lack of size in the paint, rim protection. Lots of layups, guys getting rebounded over, putbacks for guys like Bam Adebayo. Just a whole lot of lacking in that position for us. Marc Gasol has stretched the floor really well, but I don't want to make this a bash Marc Gasol video. He's just not the answer at the center position, period. Kuzma's playing great. He looked fantastic out there. He's scoring. He's doing everything we want him to do. He looked good. We missed Dennis Schroeder out there. He's going to be missing a couple games with the COVID-19 protocol, propaganda, whatever it is. He's going to be out. I don't know how they pick these players that they choose to be out. It's not like they have announced that he's gotten COVID or that he's in risk of COVID. I think it's just like, okay, we're going to pick a couple players, just take them out of here, and, just bring them back in a couple games. That's what it looks like the NBA is doing, honestly. But either way, that's what we got going on. So we're missing two very, very serious pieces, two starters, in obviously Dennis Schroeder and some guy named Anthony. I don't know. But either way, that's what we got going on. A lot will be made of the final play in that game where LeBron James received a pass from Caruso. Caruso ran to the corner, caught the pass in the corner, and tried to heave up a three that was pretty well contested by the Miami Heat. You got to give them credit. They closed out very quickly. The pass that came from LeBron to Caruso didn't quite catch him in stride because they were running out of time. It wasn't a one of those rhythm passes that go straight into your pocket and allow you to shoot. Caruso had to adjust. And like I said, the defense collapsed real good on him. That's a play where you want LeBron James to take the shot. You do. And I know that a lot of people are going to say, well, he lives and dies by making the right play. And I've been one to say that I'd rather him make the right play than force up a shot that ain't going to go in. But in that situation, that particular situation, the pass wasn't the better play. Caruso appeared to be going to an open spot, but by the time the pass got there, he was no longer open. He had two people on him when that shot was released. And I expect a basketball mind like LeBron James, and he's brilliant. This is why I expect this. But I expect him to be able to see that coming. Like Caruso's not going to be able to get a good look off there. You are, though. You are. If you fake that pass to Caruso and then go into your three-point motion that he loves to go into, he can hit that shot, and we win the game. Because the pass, like I said, the pass to me looked like it should have been a decoy. And I think when he looks at the footage, and I think when the team looks at the footage, I think that's kind of what they'll say. It's like, look, yes, Caruso was going into the corner. It looked like it could have been a good situation, but the defense was on top of that. But you could have sent the defense that away anyway and left a wide open shot for yourself. So it's like, you just make a decision, And this is one of those things where it's like, you can't see this as a basketball fan, but I'm privy. I just understand this for some reason. That's the type of play where LeBron will live with it and be happy with it because he showed a teammate that he trusts him. That is more meaningful sometimes than actually getting the victory. Because come playoff time, Caruso's going to run to that same spot, and he's going to have confidence in himself to not only be in position to receive that pass again, but to probably make that shot. And most importantly, defenses look at footage like this from this game, and they say, you know what? Yeah, we're definitely going to play the pass. LeBron James will get an open shot on that play another time. LeBron James will be able to keep that honest. Because this is the thing about a guy like Kobe Bryant, and grew up watching him. You knew what he was going to do. He always had 5 and 6 people collapsing on him. 6 people. 5 people collapsing on him, 4 people collapsing on him because he was always shooting. Guys could be open, it didn't matter. He was forcing a shot. You never keep the defense honest when they know what you got going on. But in a league where everybody studies film, in a league where everybody's trying to learn your tendencies, it's good to have situations and sequences like this for teams to study that'll throw their asses off. That way, a team like Boston, for example, looks at the footage of this and they're like, okay, we know that play next time we see it. LeBron James can then make a different decision, and they'll have to stay honest about whatever it is that he's doing. So I love that aspect of LeBron James' game. He didn't make that play for tonight, just like none of those passes down the stretch of games when he should have shot the shot were happenstance. He is about the business of instilling confidence in players, putting them in positions to feel good about what it is that they're doing out there, and also misdirecting defenses and those who are studying him. And so that when you understand that this is a chess match and each and every game is being studied, you understand that going left when you normally would go right can be the difference between a defense having your number down the stretch of a basketball game. That could be the difference between a championship or moving on to playoffs, etc. It's sort of like the jab in boxing. When you use your jab a bunch of times, you set up the bigger punch. You set up the bigger play. You rock the baby to sleep, so to speak, so they think they know what's coming, and all of a sudden you can catch them off guard with something real. That's what these little bit of plays are. You know, it's you can look at the game in a vacuum and say, okay, this particular game you should have did this particular thing. But when you look at an entire season, you can say, okay, in that game I did this, in that game I did that, in that game I did this. They don't know what I'm going to do when it comes around to seeing me this time because I done did all those things in various different games that they have studied and watched film on. So that's what LeBron is doing. That's what a lot of great players are doing. They're setting people up. They are setting up moves that you can't even fathom. You know what I mean? That's what greatness does. It prepares itself and it positions itself to be able to continue to be great. And, LeBron James knows what he's doing. So I trust him. I just think that, again, if you want to look at one play and say, yo, that could have been a win in a season where it looks like we're going to slide in standings, games like this obviously count. A lesser season in terms of 72 games versus 82 games, every game even matters even more. So it's a lot of stuff that you could look at and say, damn, you don't want to leave games on the table. But if this is the difference between Caruso believing in himself and teams not knowing what the hell LeBron's going to do down the stretch of a game, keeping him as unpredictable as possible, hey, I'm all for it. But I do think that it's inevitable that guys like Skip Bayless and some of his critics are going to kill him tomorrow morning. And I think he's been dealing with that for 17 years, so it ain't going to bother him any more than it always hasn't. Who cares what they think at the end of the day? As long as you're putting yourself in a position to continue to build your greatness, LeBron, they can all eat rocks, kick rocks, or whatever the hell they're going to do. So that's what I got to say about that. I think the Lakers are in a good position to go out and get a center. A lot of centers have become available recently. It's like 3 or 4 guys that I think the Lakers are looking at. Drummond, Blake Griffin, even though he's not a center, he's a big that we're looking at. Obviously, Mo Bamba, I've made a video about that. And Boogie Cousins is now available. So the Lakers are going to find themselves a center, maybe even 2 of them if we can get them for a low price. And I think that is right on time because we definitely need a center. And that's the thing. Our team is built for AD and LeBron James. The pieces around them complement them. But if you remove them, the pieces don't necessarily complement each other. And I think that's what we're learning. It's not something that we couldn't have foreseen. You know what I mean? It's kind of laid out there for us to see in a way. But I just don't think many people really considered the fact that AD would miss many games or Bron miss games or anything like that. As a unit, all the pieces really fit. You know what I mean? But it's just like anything else. You remove a big piece and suddenly you have an entirely different team. And this team, without AD, does not fit. Especially if we don't have Dennis Schroeder. I think these games go totally different if we have Dennis Schroeder out there scoring 30 points, which he's very capable of doing. He's a big-time disruptor. So we didn't just lose AD. We lost Schroeder, too. That's almost like, 50 points of offensive scoring? Like more points than that? I mean, nah, you're definitely going to lose games when you have to make that adjustment, especially since those guys just came out of the lineup. And that's something I want to mention in regards to all teams everywhere. When you have a big piece, a big player, or any player really in your starting lineup that you have to remove from your roster for any length of time, those first couple of games are going to be very, very, very difficult for the team because they have to adjust to what it is that they now are. So you're not going to see the cohesiveness that you're used to seeing when everybody's healthy. But if you give that team a couple of days, or if they miss the player for longer than a month, you're going to see that team start to come around, reinvent themselves based on what it is that they now have, and they're going to find some cohesiveness with what it is that they have. So it just takes time. So just please remember that, everybody who watches my channel. Once a guy goes down, those first couple of games they're probably going to be losses. But if the team doesn't suck and the coaches are able to make good adjustments, you're going to see the cohesion over time throughout the duration of that injury. So I expect the Lakers are going to play better. I do need to see more out of Montrezl Harrell. He's the guy that I'm expecting to really pick up the scoring load without those two big-time players for us, and it hasn't really panned out. Kuzma's doing more. I think we're leaning a little bit too much on our older players and not enough on our younger guys. I want to see THT get more minutes, even though I know he's struggling. He's kind of in a bit of a slump. I think a lot of that has to do with just him being in and out of the lineup. He's still very young. He still needs a lot of developing, and his confidence is in limbo in terms of like his career can go many different ways. And when a guy's hot and he's playing well and he has some energy behind him and you take him out of lineups, you put him in and he can only struggle and you take him out because he's struggling, that kind of stuff can mess with a player's projection of who he's going to become. So it's very important that when you have a team that are full of veterans and you have young guys, that you put those young guys in positions to succeed, but also to be able to make mistakes and have some rope. Because you can destroy a guy's career on a team like this when he makes 2 mistakes and you pull him out of the game and don't put him back out there for like 3 games, which is what we're doing. So I know we're here to win games. I listen to Frank Vogel in regards to THT. We're here to win. If you can help us win, cool. But if you're not going to cultivate the player, which is your job, and make it and develop the player, which is your job, then we got to do something with the players so that we can get players in here that you don't have to develop. You know what I mean? But I don't think it's smart for the Lakers to take that route. You want to have young, growing talent on your veteran ball club. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you ain't got nothing but vets. That is never, ever a good thing. I don't care what nobody says. You don't want a team with nothing but vets. You want some young legs and you want some guys out there with some upside. So that's what I got to say. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sure there's more to that game, but I only saw highlights, so who knows what I'm missing. But I thought we had some pretty good guard play. Caruso, he played well. I think what I'm enjoying about his game more than anything is just the defensive side. He's not the greatest shooter, but he has been willing to make some shots. KCP did some nice things out there tonight, worth looking at. His playmaking ability is starting to evolve. He's not a playmaker, but he's becoming somebody who's capable of making plays for others, which is a really, really big bonus for him as a player, because that's not his game. So now that I'm starting to see that, I'm encouraged quite a bit. There's a couple things that stood out for me. I heard Marcus Morris didn't play well. I didn't see him in any of the highlights, but word on the street is he didn't play well in this game. Ho-hum. Markieff Morris, rather. He'll be around when we need him to. He shot so well in the finals and playoffs and bubble and all that, and I'm very happy with him on this team. He's just a vet that's going to be there when we need him. So if he can get some reps up, again, inconsistent minutes for a guy like that. If he's been playing a comfortable amount of 18 minutes every night, you probably don't see him slump like this. So whatever happened out there, I'm pretty sure you can credit it to inconsistency of minutes. So, yeah, man. Yeah, that's what I got, man. It's time to get up out of here. Ending my work shift. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.